That word Dalit simply means, the literal meaning of it is oppressed or crushed. That's what that word means. And we are talking about 1/4 of India's population. That is possibly 25 times the population of your country here in Sweden. I understand your population is around 9 point something million. So we are talking about 25 times more of your population who are being viewed as Dalits, oppressed, untouchable, unfortunate, underprivileged. Untouchables, that's what we are talking about. And I come from that background, as Daniel introduced me. And I have gone through physically, mentally, socially of being a Dalit, being viewed as untouchable, being called as subhuman. My own parents used to call me that because they were told that they are subhumans. So my mom repeatedly told me I am a subhuman. So I have gone through this oppression, this discrimination, this segregation, this dehumanization, even while I was a child. I remember 11 years old when I was playing with some of my friends, cricket, and then I happened to touch one untouchable boy, and he yelled at me saying, "You dirty Dalit dog." And of course I took a bat and hit him, and he got hurt, he was bleeding. Then they gave me a punishment, he and his relatives. They told we have to relocate ourselves, go to another village in 24 hours time. So I went through this agony of being a Dalit. I went through this mental, physical slavery. For me, this caste system, which the gentleman here you saw in the videos was speaking about, caste system, which is very much part and parcel of Hinduism, says Dalit should not be educated. That is there in Hindu Vedas, holy books, and the quotation was there. Manusmriti it is called. Manusmriti, this book says Dalits should not be educated. Dalits must be treated in par with a dog. That's what Manusmriti says. I have read it. Manusmriti also says a Dalit is not entitled to hear the Vedas, that is the holy book of the Hindus. He cannot hear it. If he hears it, the Manusmriti says a hot molten lead should be poured in his ears and be punished. So that will give you a picture of what a Dalit is in India and how he is viewed by today's Hindus, upper caste Hindus especially. For me, friends, caste system which still exists in our nation, even though it is outlawed long back, it still exists. Untouchability, outlawed many years ago, it still exists. It's all in theory. It's all in theory. But in practice, it's a different India. In practice, India views Dalits as impure, dirty, worse than animal, lesser human beings. That is caste system in a nutshell for you. For me, friends, coming from a Dalit background, gone through all this suffering, physically, mentally, socially, even spiritually, for me, caste system is the world largest, single largest, biggest evil form which humanity has ever seen. This is modern apartheid. This is modern slavery. And that's why I'm here expressing my heartfelt gratitude to the honorable members of the parliament who has given me this opportunity, particularly Mrs. Anna Lee here, and my friends at Dalit Freedom Network, for giving me this opportunity to tell you what is beyond Bangalore, to tell you what is real India, to tell you what is hiding behind the image of economically booming India. What is the reality behind fast developing IT India? There is another India. there is hidden India. This is the India which says, because I was born in a Dalit background, I'm impure. I'm untouchable. Branded as impure from the moment I am born. Dalits, my community people, 1/4 of India's population, are viewed as subhuman, underprivileged, unfortunate untouchables. This is India for you, friends. This is the real India for you. 250 million going through on a daily basis, unabated, being viewed as subhuman. And this is the plight of the Dalits in our country today. This is what every Dalit is going through in our nation today. Yes, there is a slow progress. Yes, there is a possible development for the Dalit community. But compared to whatever is happening, it is just a drop in the ocean, I would say. Hence, we have a long, long way to go to see that human dignity for the 1/4 of India's population. For me, this quest for freedom, for me, this struggle for being viewed as a human being is the single largest quest for human dignity. That's what this fight is all about. That is what this struggle is all about for our community. And hence I am here presenting to you another India, a India which you have not heard, and I'm going to present even some statistics here so that you can be aware of the plight of Dalits in our country today. Of course, you know that IT India, the booming economically shining India, Bangalore city, the Silicon Valley of India. By the way, Bangalore city also has a dubious distinction of being the suicide capital of India. How about that? Yeah, the highest number of suicides are being committed in my city. Economically booming, IT shining city of Bangalore has this dubious, infamous distinction of being the suicide capital of India. That will also give you an idea of what is going behind India. And my friend Daniel also told me that there is going to be an upcoming seminar here. Is it tomorrow? Tomorrow. And we were surprised to know, but it's good that it is happening. In no correlation, but I believe that there is another side of India is being given also presented tomorrow. And it's the seminar is known as Insight India 2011. And it is going to focus on new India, about entrepreneurship and bureaucracy and youth. They're going to concentrate on that, focus on that, and they're going to talk about how the world's largest democracy has this opportunity to develop the information technology and so on. I think in a way it's a good coincidence that we could have this seminar, but it is the reality. On the other hand, there is another India. This is the hidden India, where there is modern apartheid, modern slavery, which is still rampant among the Dalit community. And here, as you saw in this India untouchable videos and images, the Brahmin priest is explaining how Hindu views the Dalits as. And he also explained, I rephrase it, that there are 4 layers of caste existing in our country according to their own Vedas. This is their story of creation. This is their theology of creation. 4 layers of caste. The Brahmins, created out of the Creator God, and they are around 5% of India's population, that's all. And the second layer were created, they believe, out of the arms of the Creator God. They are known as Kshatriyas, that is the Hindu term, which means the warrior caste, if you want. If you take India's defense, air force, armed force, military, majority of these officers come from this particular second caste. And the third caste that man explained is that God created them out of the Thais, a particular caste called Vaishyas, the Hindu term. Vaishyas is simply like, you can say, business community. That is the third caste in the caste ladder. Mahatma Gandhi, who is highly revered as the father of India, comes from this particular caste, business community. And the fourth caste, he said, are known as Sudras. That's the word he used. And we call them currently as OBC, other backward caste. The first top three layers constitute only around 5% each, total 15% of India's population. And the fourth one, which is known as the lowest caste, constitute nearly 50% of India's population. That is 500 million. And now the question is, where are the Dalits in the caste system? The answer is, get ready for this shock, they are not part of the caste system. They are outcasts. They are not part of the caste system, they are outside the caste. That's why possibly the English term outcast. And we were talking yesterday with Daniel and we were using the word, by the way, I come from a particular Dalit caste. There are so many different subcastes also in the Dalit section. And I come from a caste called Paraya. That is my caste. Now the Paraya word, P-A-R-A-I-H, Paraya, if you Google it, you will be shocked. It is there in English dictionary. And what is the meaning of it? Untouchable, outcast, whatever that word says. And I was shocked to see myself. And I feel like suing the person who included that word in the English dictionary. Yeah, that's my caste. And he says it means outcast. There is another word in English dictionary. It says Pandit. If you Google that word, that's an Indian word again. If you Google that word P-U-N-D-I-T, it is there in English dictionary worldwide. It says Pandit means scholar, it says. And who is a Pandit in India? Is a Brahmin. I wonder how and who has put all these words in the English dictionary, leading the world with these lies. And I am here to expose these lies, friends, coming from a Dalit background, seeking the help of the global community, seeking the help of the well-wishers like Mr. Anand Lee, Honorable Member of the Parliament, and Mr. Johnson, and other friends who are here, to expose this evil of our nation, to tell you that there is another India which is not exposed. I'm basically here exposing this evil side of our country. Thanks to caste system, which is playing havoc in our nation till date. Another important aspect which I want to highlight here, as we talk about the plight of the Dalits in India, is this whole huge issue of human trafficking. Human trafficking, friends, is the major issue of our country today, which is rarely addressed by any politician's political party in our nation. Mainly because the worst sufferers of human trafficking is the Dalits. Because majority of the Dalits are easy targets, vulnerable targets, very cheap targets, if you will, for human trafficking. Official statistics says that there are at least 2 million Dalits, women and children are trafficked out of India annually. You can Google it, you will get it. And here is one more shocker. The Home Secretary of our country, Government of India, went on a record, if you Google it is there. He says at least 100 million people are directly or indirectly affected by human trafficking. He said it. Government of India, Home Secretary says this. And finally, may I say this? The Prime Minister of our country, Dr. Manmohan Singh said, again he is on a record, you can Google it. Last year, in the month of November, he said in the Parliament that untouchability, which is outlawed according to the government of India. He says untouchability, which is still being practiced, is a blot in humanity, and it is equivalent to the apartheid in South Africa. This is Dr. Manmohan Singh saying it. You Google it, it is there for the whole world to see. That will give you an idea what the Dalits are going through in our country today, friends. Human trafficking, my wife is currently involved in sheltering and rescuing these girls and bringing them, rehabilitating them, hopefully reintegrating them back to the society. In Mumbai city alone, which is known for its red light district, a report says that there are 200,000 child prostitutes under the age of 15. Mumbai city alone. And we are involved in rescue and rehabilitating of these girls. We have a girl in the city of Bangalore right now in my wife's shelter home. Her name is Deepthi. She's 11 years old. Rescued in Mumbai, Red Light District. I have a girl, my daughter is 14. I can understand this, how the parents will feel, because some of these parents are told a lie, thanks to Hinduism, which says that if you sell your daughters, if you dedicate your daughters to the temples as temple prostitutes, you will go to heaven. Thanks to Hinduism. Friends, this will give an idea what current India is. This will give an idea what the Dalit community is going through. And I am here once again to present on behalf of my community, on behalf of my children, on behalf of our women. Dalit men are attacked on a daily basis. Dalit women are raped on a daily basis. Dalit children are abused on a daily basis. Dalits politically are powerless, educationally illiterate, economically backward, religiously lost of course. This is the story of Dalits in our country today. Bangalore city, beyond Bangalore we are talking. Last month I was traveling to another little village called Ramachandrapuram, outside of Bangalore, hardly 50 kilometers. 6 years ago, 70 Dalits were burned alive in this village. This IT capital has a dubious hidden story which I am exposing here again. So friends, this will give an idea what is happening with the Dalit community in our country today. Is there a hope for Dalit community? Maybe 10 years ago, if you asked this question, I would say as a Dalit, there is no hope. 10 years ago. But today, I'm here standing as a hopeful Dalit because organization like Dalit Freedom Network, I believe God has raised this organization thanks to Mr. Daniel, Mr. Hans, Mr. Magnus, these friends who are part of this great movement which is committed totally to empower the Dalits of India with fourfold focus. We are calling this as 4 pillars of Dalit Freedom Network. First of all, education is the main pillar of our movement. We believe education can empower the Dalits, and that empowerment brings emancipation. So we are in the process of establishing schools. Thank you, Magnus. God bless you. We have 103 schools established right now, catering to around 25,000 children in our schools. Because Hindu Veda says, Hindu Holy Book says, Dalits should not be educated so that they can be treated as servants. 3,000 years it's going on. Now we have come here to empower the Dalits with the help of Dalit Freedom Network Sweden and other DFN units in different parts of the world. We have 9 countries where Dalit Freedom Network is actively helping us in solidarity and in support. Education is our first pillar. Second pillar is economic development. We believe that economic economic development can really make the Dalits to stand on their legs, so that there is labor of dignity. Because Dalit women, one statistic says that there are 2 million Dalit women are involved in what we call as manual scavenging, cleaning the human excreta in their hands, dry electrics. Now we are here to empower these women with labor of dignity. So economic development, which helps these women with the vocational skills through training. Self-help groups is another important aspect where the women can have the dignity. So economic development becomes a crucial pillar for the emancipation and the freedom of Dalits. That's the second pillar. The third pillar is the medical initiative, which we believe is a very, very important aspect to address the issue of Dalits, because they are untouchables. Our doctors, who are usually from upper caste background, will not touch a Dalit and treat, because he is an untouchable, she is an untouchable. So health issue is a major problem. So Dalit Freedom Network Sweden and other units are helping us to periodically conduct these health camps and to train the village health workers so that they are part of this village units we have, the schools we have, the self-help groups we have. We place these village health workers to address the need of the health issues of Dalits. So that is the third pillar. And the fourth pillar, last one but not the least one, is the social justice pillar. Because we believe the advocacy part is very, very crucial for the emancipation of the Dalits. And not just advocacy right there in India like me, but a global advocacy. United States of America, we have Dalit Freedom Network based in Washington, D.C. UK, United Kingdom, they are there in London. Canada, and now we are so thankful here in Sweden, you will be our advocates, Mr. Denna and your friends here. Advocacy globally. We know that one day, not one day, soon, Mrs. Anna Lee will be our advocate. Mr. Johnson will be our advocate. When we have such advocates in high places, we believe the redemption, the salvation, the emancipation of the Dalits is near. That's what we are hopeful of. And we believe that these are the champions who will be speaking for the freedom, liberty, and the emancipation of the Dalits. So advocacy is the crucial component of our 4 pillars. And friends, when I see all these important elements joining together, falling in its place, and helping us to find this emancipation and join this struggle of our Dalits in their quest for freedom, we are hopeful that things will change. And in closing, I'm going to close in a minute or so, and then we are going to have a little break, whatever, and then we are going to open it up for question and answers, Ms. Annalie, if that is okay, so that we will address your questions. In closing, I want to say this. Last week I was in Washington, D.C. We went to a place where Martin Luther King gave his famous speech, I Have a Dream. You remember that speech? He was a civil rights movement leader there in America, and I read that history. That fascinated me and gave me a bright hope that it is possible even in our country, because we are going through similar discrimination, and this is caste-oriented discrimination which is unique to our country. Martin Luther King said, I have a dream. And you know the speech a little bit. But I rephrased it, and I said, we also have a dream in India. That one day, India will be a casteless country. That one day, the upper caste people, Dalits, will sit together on a common table with brotherhood, with equality, with dignity. We also have a dream that one day our children will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of the character. Thank you very much. God bless you all.
10 minuter av mingel och fruktstund. Och sen samlas vi igen efter det. Så